Hey you guys, it's Zenith Darksky here with Darksky Games, and you guys seem to really respond and want to support my idea of saving Unreal Tournament. And it's not just my idea, the whole community, for the most part, of Unreal Tournament really loves the game from what I can tell, and also want to save it. So thank you guys for showing so much support to me for that. But right now I'm going to give you kind of a rundown of the Unreal Tournament history, just to give those who are unfamiliar a layout of the game and its history and everything like that. Okay, so Tim Sweeney founded Epic Games, who developed all the Unreal Tournament games at this point in time, or Unreal games, um, or at least oversaw the development of. The Unreal Engine 1 was inspired by Quake and Doom, and they started the engine in 1995 to create the first Unreal game, solely for this reason. And Unreal was the name of the very first game, and it was just FPS in style of Quake and Doom with single player and multiplayer. It jump started Cliff Bleszinski's career, which you may know as the creator, designer of Gears of War and the Unreal Tournament games, of course, stuff like that, Radical Heights, Lawbreakers. The overall rankings of the game were what is now an 8.8 on Metacritic, and it was praised for everything down to its bot support for multiplayer, but the online multiplayer had a little bit of lag going on. It was the early signs of the arena shooter subgenre. It helped kind of spark those designs and stuff like Quake and Doom did. Came out for Windows, Mac, and almost the Nintendo 64 disk drive, but we saw how that went. The story followed prisoner 849, whose prison ship is attacked by the Scourge after crash landing on Na Pali, trying to escape it. The Scourge and the Scourge until deciding to instead try and destroy the Scourge, eventually leading to teleporting to their mothership, killing the queen, blowing up the ship, and jumping in an escape pod to float into space indefinitely. Fun. One of the first games to get an expansion instead of a sequel. Now what I mean by that is games at the time were used to getting sequels and whatnot, but this game got an actual expansion pack that you had to download. There may be a disc for it or something, I'm not sure about that, but I know you could download it online. The story of the expansion pack followed 849 again being found by humans, marines, forced to help and return to Na Pali, but he eventually discovered their intent on betraying him, and which kind of led to their destruction and escaping into space again, like at the end of Unreal 1. Well, the actual game, not the expansion. Now we move on to Unreal Tournament, which came next. The budget for this game was $2 million, which is crazy in the 90s, early 2000s. The Metacritic for it is 92. It won just under 20 awards, and the old video game Dark Sector was planned as a spiritual successor by one of the companies to help work on the game. It sold 2 million units, and UT was played at the World Cyber Games in 2001 and 2002, helping to increase popularity of esports at the time. And it's one of the most influential games ever by some accounts, and one of the best first-person shooters of all time by many accounts also. And they launched this game completely to compete with Quake 3. Kept the same style as the first game, but this was the first Unreal game labeled as an arena first-person shooter. It was initially developed as an expansion for Unreal, later wanting to focus more on the multiplayer and deciding to make it its own game itself. It had single-player and multiplayer, of course, but from here on their main focus was multiplayer for the Unreal Tournament games. It was for PC, Mac, Linux, PlayStation 2, and Dreamcast, and the story followed the creation of the Grand Tournament by the New Earth government. Because of the new legalization of the consensual murder law and the Leandry Mining Corporation's idea of tri-casting organized fights to help give violence an outlet. Basically, you just fought in bot fights to become the grand champion. It had 6 game modes to begin with. 4 bonus packs, though, brought maps, characters, and new features. And the map Capture the Flag Face was one of the most influential maps ever made by most accounts. And the Flat Cannon was voted the greatest gun in PC gaming by PC Gamer 2013. So, like I said, pretty influential game, pretty fun game. But now we move on to Unreal Tournament 2003. Unreal Tournament 2003 came out for PC, Mac, and Linux. It had 8 game modes instead of 2. It included mods. The Metacritic score of this one was 86 overall, and the demo was downloaded 1.2 million times, which was the record at the time, and I believe still is the record for demo downloads of any video game. It could have been beaten, I'm not sure, but this game was also called Unreal Championship, and it's port for the Xbox. The Xbox, like just the original Xbox. The game in total earned $13.6 million by 2006. Came out 2002, 2003. By 2006, it made $13.6 million. Crazy. It's crazy for a game at the time. It took the yearly name instead of the number, like 2003 instead of 2, to compete with sports games at the time, such as Madden NFL, 2K13, or whatever you want to call it. It had single player and multiplayer, of course, and bots and whatnot, and the story was just rising to the top of the tournament. There's kind of an underlying story where a man named Zan Krieger, or Zan Krieger, whatever you want to say, was fighting to become to defend his title, actually, of a champion or whatever, but that's neither here nor there. After this game comes Unreal 2: The Awakening. The Metacritic score for this one was only a 75, and it came out for PC and Xbox. The multiplayer had 1 game mode though, kind of like Capture the Flag, but with more strategy, and it only had 1 game mode because of a multiplayer expansion they released later to help the multiplayer, because at first it didn't have any. They focused mainly on linear single player. The least notable game out of the series, to be honest, although the sales were pretty okay for the game itself. Story followed former Marine John Dalton, called back to action to assemble a powerful weapon, and normal Unreal Tournament stuff. You get the weapon, create the or put the weapon together, whoever you help does, and blowing stuff up, and yeah, Unreal Tournament life, basically. I think I'm gonna call this video here. It's looking like we're gonna have enough time for a part 2. I've still got 3, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, 4 more games to go through. So anyways, so thank you guys for watching. Be prepared for part 2 to come out. It'll roughly be the same amount of time, but anyways, again, thank you guys for the support on the first video. I never expected it to take off as much as it did. I know I'm a small channel and everything like that at the moment, and so taking off for me probably wasn't a whole lot to a lot of people. It probably didn't look impressive, but I loved it a lot. Thank you guys for the support. Remember though, if you like these videos and you like my content, remember to like, share, and subscribe, and leave a comment if you agree. If I missed something or something interesting you know about it and you want to throw out there, comment that as well. Remember to keep sharing the How to Help Unreal Tournament video and this video too, so that you can we can really garner some attention for that game. It deserves it so much. But anyways, thank you guys. I'm Zenith Darksky with Darksky Games. Get gaming.